What's up, friends? Welcome into Rock Chalk Sports here on this late December Tuesday with Dan Courtwright.
What day is it?
I am Sean Kellerman. Elijah Schmidt running the operations. That's always a great question, right?
We're in the void, as I like to call it right now.
Usually there's like a basketball game around this time. But
yeah, but there's nothing.
I get
nothing going
so
on.
sad. I said this yesterday when Christmas ends, but at least you have New Year's to hang on to.
That's true.
We have a show today, of course, and we have a show tomorrow, but we do not have a show Thursday or Friday of this week. So we will be previewing the UCF Knights to open the show tomorrow.
Right.
How about that?
Oh, man. UCF. That's right. Yeah.
Tomorrow's show.
I guess, yeah, because they play on the 3rd, but we don't have a show Thursday or Friday. So,
Yes.
So we'll be breaking down everything about the UCF Knights. We're going to see if Mikey Williams is still there.
I don't think so. But we're going to see if Taco Fall is still there. No, but we're going to break that down. Tomorrow's show is going to be packed. The only show that might be more packed than tomorrow's show, today's show.
Today's show's packed.
Tomorrow's
we got a lot of
show,
good stuff.
Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, LJWorld.com. Plus, we'll have our KU mailbag segment. So 4 to 6 tomorrow on KansasNation.com. We are on KansasNation.com right now. In the 5 o'clock hour, we will be on ESPN Kansas City as well. Appreciate you guys listening and watching along. But yes, loaded show today for you. We're talking Big 12 basketball here in the opening segment. We haven't done like a full-on Big 12 breakdown, and it seems like the right time, does it not? Because we need to update you on what's going on. Honestly, it's hard to tell in non-conference because everybody's playing different teams, but college basketball has done such a better job recently at having good quality Power 5 conference teams schedule tough games against good quality Power 5 conference teams. So we've had a lot of that, but still a little bit different statistically than when conference play starts and everybody's playing each other, apples to apples, that type of thing. But still, we'll update you on the non-conference, which is almost completely closed for every team in the Big 12 conference. Let you know where people are in the rankings. Honestly, not a lot has changed from the preseason in terms of the teams that are in the rankings, but obviously Big 12, if anything, has performed better than expectations, which is not surprising. But we'll tell you some of the teams maybe toward the middle or bottom portion of the Big 12 in the preseason poll who are perhaps surprises and maybe could make some noise in conference play. Next segment, Dan, it is a Top 10 Tuesday.
Yes, it is, and it's a topical.
I can't believe you did something related to New Year's.
Topical 10
what are
Tuesday.
The chances?
Yes. I'm doing my – so last year I did a top 10 New Year's resolutions, just like stuff I wanted to do. And I didn't do any of them, by the way.
Yes.
Just in case you were keeping track. So this year I'm doing another top 10 resolutions, and I'm going to explain how I'm going to attain them, and I am delegating this to you. You are going to keep me accountable.
Why is it me? Is it because I'm the guy who hosts the Sports
you're
Talk
just
show
next
with you?
to me. Yeah, you're just next to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do that.
Elijah, you're also accountable for
Is one of them
keeping
going to
me
be
accountable.
to actually take down your Christmas tree?
Your new, that should be on there.
That's what I hate about Christmas ending, though, because then, like, once the
Yeah.
26th hits, it's like it's in everybody's mind. When do I need to start taking decorations down?
I
And
told
it's
you
brutal.
this. We never took our Christmas tree down from
Right.
last year.
Right, but at least
we moved it downstairs.
At least you moved it to and you took the ornaments off.
I did take the ornaments
so that
off.
counts.
But it was still like up. Like we have that downstairs basement. You've seen it.
Yeah.
And it was just down there. The
Man,
whole time.
I have great visions for what that basement could be. Honestly, like
Me
it
too.
seems like it's got a great like man cave.
Nice
type.
little vibe. It's got wood paneling and a nice little fireplace. We just finally put a TV down there.
That's perfect, dude.
It's a cool little place.
You're gonna have a wet bar down there before you know it.
Here's the thing. It's so drafty that in the
Oh my
wintertime it gets incredibly cold.
So cozy up with a blanket. Did you get Piper a blanket for Christmas?
No, that was her one thing that she did not want because we have probably
Seriously?
1 million blankets.
Yeah.
Probably about around there.
So
Give or take a couple.
You run hot, don't you?
I do.
Yes. So I do as well. So I will a lot of times turn the ceiling fan on just because I need a little bit of air. Like if I'm
Sure.
sitting there, I'm going to be sweating. I don't care how cold it is. And therefore, my wife, who runs cold, always needs blankets. So I feel like it's a good fallback.
No,
there's
blankets
a lot.
are always good, but we don't have a ceiling fan in our room.
Right.
And I did have a little personal fan that was right next to me, but my dog Mac chewed the cord, so I currently don't have a fan.
Classic Mac.
So that's tough. But my fiance, my lovely fiance, still keeps the she keeps the house at a toasty 61 degrees year round, which is great.
All about that bottom line.
Not year round, I guess, but during the summer it's 60. During the winter it's 61. During the summer it's like 72.
Oh God! Hey,
Inside.
72 is a lot more doable and safe. But I could
not
live in
horrible.
61. Layers, man, layers.
I know.
That's
I
about.
do run hot though.
We are going to do a little whip around to close out the 4 o'clock hour. The Monday Night Football game last night, which, by the way, Falcons +7, that cashed immediately, essentially. But the Rams kind of got hosed on a ridiculous catch from Puka Nacua, who is ridiculous in general. We'll have a screenshot of that for you and let us know what you think. Also, a couple other things going around to close out the 4 o'clock hour. And then to open the 5 o'clock hour, Matt Norlander, CBSSports.com, wrote an article related to everything going on in college athletics right now. Of course, the big thing that a lot of coaches have been asked about, the signing of James Najee from Baylor, essentially from the G League to Baylor. He was drafted in the NBA draft, and Baylor has added him to their roster. He's eligible immediately. John Calipari had some comments on that. The Norlander article in specific had Dan Hurley's comments on that. Hurley, I guess, got a text from Norlander, who works for CBS Sports, and left him a 3-minute long voice message that we'll kind of read/paraphrase for you to get Danny Hurley's thoughts on that.
We're gonna have to do a lot of paraphrasing.
Yeah, probably so. There were surprisingly not a lot of curse words in there.
Okay.
KU football position grade breakdown. We talked about the running backs yesterday. We're going to close out the wide receivers 2025. And Dan will give a grade on how he thinks that went. Emmanuel Henderson, good. Other guys, maybe not quite as good. And then we'll close out the show today with an NFL mock draft look, as Dan will break down, of course, who the Chiefs might go to. Obviously, we have one or two guys at the forefront, but maybe some backup options if those guys don't get selected or get selected earlier than the Chiefs end up picking. Again, my understanding, the Chiefs will pick somewhere between 8th and 13th in the NFL draft. All right, we're going to get into the Big 12 basketball outlook here in the opening segment, but first want to shout out our friends over at Crown Automotive who are sponsoring this first segment. Miles Schneier and everybody, great customer service. They will get you in the car that you need. CrownAutomotive.com. Appreciate their partnership, and give them a look. Swing on by on South Iowa here in Lawrence.
My neck of the woods.
Your neck of the woods. We say that every day.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep that up.
They'll make sure to get you in the job that fits your lifestyle.
In the car that fits your lifestyle.
What did I say?
Job. Where did
Car.
that come from?
They're not going to get you. Well, I mean, if you apply, I don't
Apply
know.
online at Crown
Sure.
Automotive.
Yeah, you can apply to be a car salesman, whatever. But yeah, no, be sure to go check them out. A great number of new cars, Toyotas, Volkswagens, and a great number of used cars as well. So really appreciate that partnership with Crown Automotive. CrownAutomotive.com.
Big 12 basketball outlook as we essentially close out the non-conference season. Let's look first at the rankings, see where everybody's at. Number 1 is Arizona. Arizona has been number 1 in the country for a while. They are slightly ahead of Michigan for that number 1 spot in the AP poll. They did not,
which, by the way,
release a new AP poll so people know yesterday.
Yeah.
They didn't do a new AP poll.
Yeah.
Arizona barely ahead. They do have 38 first-place votes. Michigan has 19. Those two teams are fascinating to me, and I know Michigan isn't in the Big 12, but just to talk about the top 2 teams in the country, there's some chatter going around right now about would you rather have, in terms of a national champion, Arizona, Michigan, or the field? That's where it's at right now. Michigan is an absolute wagon. And a word on them really quick. They're undefeated, of course, as is Arizona. Michigan scored 121 on Oakland, 102 on Auburn, who they beat by 30, 101 on Gonzaga, who they beat by 40, and then they scored 101 on Rutgers, who they beat by 41. They scored 101 on Maryland, 102 on LaSalle, and 112 on McNeese. This team is absolutely loaded. They've got Yaxel Lindeborg, who, of course, somehow was marinating in Birmingham playing for UAB.
He was playing the 5 spot in Birmingham.
My goodness.
Isn't that insane?
Elliot Cadeau, the transfer from North Carolina. Ade Mara, the transfer 7'3" from UCLA. Plus, they've got Roddy Gale Jr., the transfer from the Ohio State University, and a lot of other really good players. So this Michigan team is just different, in my opinion. Arizona, I actually don't know their roster quite as well as I do Michigan, strangely enough, at least at this point in the season. But Arizona hasn't lost. They beat the defending national champions, Florida, back to open the season. 93-87. They also have a 4-point victory over UCLA, who was in the top 15, a 4-point victory over UConn, who was in the top 5. They beat Auburn by 29. They beat Alabama by 21. I mean, this is really incredible stuff from Arizona and Michigan, 1 and 2 right now in the AP poll. Dan, I'll let you expand on that really quick before we break down the other Big 12 teams in the AP poll. But that's kind of the chatter right now with the Wildcats and the Wolverines.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if that's a flaw in kind of the way that the AP works. I don't want to say it's a flaw, but it's abundantly clear. I've watched Arizona. I've watched 2 Arizona games this year, and I've watched a couple of Michigan games this year. It's abundantly clear that Michigan is a better team. Like you said, they're consistently beating Power 4 teams by like 30 and 40 points. Arizona is really damn good, too. Koa Pete has been incredible. He's averaging 14.2 per game. Braden Burries has been awesome for them. And a couple of names that we know, Jaden Bradley, Anthony Del Orso, and Toby Awaka, have all been really great for them. They just don't have the depth, and I don't think they have the talent. I think if they would go head-to-head, I think Michigan would probably beat them by 12 or 13 points. That's how good Michigan is. Like you said, there's so many names on this squad that we're just so familiar with. Yaxel Lindeberg, for example, right? Like you said, he was down at UAB putting up 28 points per game, all-American type player. He's like 6'10", 6'11", playing the 5 spot down there, but he could take the ball up. Now he's playing the shooting guard for Michigan, and he's thriving over there right now. Elliot Cadeau, he's from North Carolina. I mean, they have a number of different guys who have come on this program, and Dusty May has done such a fantastic job at assembling this team.
And a few resources as well.
We're not going to skimp over that, obviously. They're paying them a lot of money. But it's just Arizona was in that number 1 spot. And you can't fault a team for not losing because Arizona right now, they're 13-0. So you can't drop them. It sucks because I think the AP voters know this. They're like, all right, well, Arizona was at number 1. We can't drop them down to number 2 if they haven't lost a game or have any, bad wins, that kind of thing. And they don't have any bad wins. But it's just when you look at the talent dispersed between the two, it's Michigan, Arizona, and then the rest. I mean, those 2 teams
So you do like Arizona still in the top 2?
I do like Arizona in the top 2. I still think they're a very good program, but, I mean, it's just Michigan right now. It's hard for me to imagine They to me feel like that team that UConn had a few years back.
That's a good. That's a good comp.
When they beat every single team by 20. It was like 20 points.
They won
right?
every game by double figures in the.
Yeah, it was double
tournament.
figures at least. Yeah. So I mean, that's just like that to me is how good this Michigan team is. And you throw Arizona in that national championship, like I said, they're probably losing by 12 or 13 points.
Well, we'll put Michigan aside for now, but that's how good they've been, just so people are aware. In terms of the Big 12, you look at the preseason poll, the top 6 teams in the preseason poll look like they're going to be the top 6 teams, in my opinion. But this is the order of them. Houston, BYU, Texas Tech, Arizona, Iowa State, and Kansas. Arizona 4, Iowa State in 5 in the preseason poll. Well, Arizona's number 1 in the country right now. And Iowa State, the next team we're going to highlight, is number 3 in the country. They have had some incredible performances as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they just have had no issue. Of course, they lost Keyshawn Gilbert. They lost a lot of talented players, but they have reloaded. And, of course, they have kept really talented guys like Joshua Jefferson, Milan Momcilovic, and Taman Lipsey, who's still there. They're number 3 in the country, and their first game in conference play is going to be against West Virginia. By the way, Arizona's first game in Big 12 play is at Utah. So one thing I remember saying before the conference season is I felt like Arizona was a little high at 4th in the Big 12. Obviously, that's shaping up to be wildly
who would have known
inaccurate.
that Koa Pete would have been what he is?
He's
his
been very
first
good,
game
and
was just
the other guys, everything's been working for him. I do agree with you. I think Michigan's better. I think Michigan's the best team in the country. But Arizona, you got to give them credit. They were in the teens when the initial AP poll came out, and they've been solid at number 1. After Iowa State at 3 in terms of the Big 12 is Houston. They're sitting there at number 8. They feel to me like a 2-3 seed this year, not quite as dominant as they have been. BYU is number 10. They took a loss earlier this season, but otherwise they've been really solid as expected. Texas Tech is at 15. KU is at 17. So again, those are the 6 teams in the Big 12. When you look at Big 12 teams who are receiving votes, Arizona State is receiving votes. Baylor is receiving 1. Oklahoma State 1, and UCF 1. So you compare that; those are some surprising teams that were not picked anywhere near
UCF and
the top half of the conference.
We can get into this, but UCF has not played anybody, right? They played A&M.
It's going to be a big measuring stick when Kansas goes down there.
For sure. But they're 11-1 right now, UCF is. Their only losses to Vanderbilt, 105-93. Vanderbilt's good, right? But the only other Power 4 teams they played was Texas A&M, who's fine, and Pitt, who's not very good either. And they won that game 77-67. Other than that, here's who it is. It's Hofstra, FAMU, Oakland, Quinnipiac, VMI, Towson, Mercer, Florida Gulf Coast, and FAU. They did not schedule anybody in the top 25 for their non-con, and it's abundantly clear, right? In the AP, they're 0-0 against anybody in the AP poll. They're 0-0 against anybody in the coaches poll. So when you look at, and I know you had talked about how the Big 12 does a really good job of scheduling really tough opponents in the non-con. There are some exceptions, and I think a lot of them are some of those new guys like UCF. Colorado, they didn't play anybody in the AP as well. West Virginia didn't play anybody
which makes sense
in the AP.
on some level, because if you're a bottom half team in the conference, you're not going to get the opportunities that some of the top-tier blue blood type teams are going to get. But, yeah, no, I agree. Really quick, we'll update you on just the records. Again, you can't read into this too much because – like Dan just pointed out, it's not always top-tier competition, but the 2 13-0 teams are Arizona and Iowa State. 1-loss teams, BYU, Houston, Oklahoma State, and UCF. So, again, we don't know fraud watch how this is going to look. It'd probably take, 6 to 8 games of conference season to kind of get a feel on some of these teams, and even then, you really don't know. We do know it's going to be a battle night in and night out. Baylor is 10-2, and they have the addition coming in to their roster of James Najee. And then 10-3 teams, Kansas, Colorado, TCU, and Texas Tech. Tech's played a hard schedule. 3 teams are 9-4. That's Arizona State, K-State, and West Virginia. ASU has played a hard schedule. That's why they're receiving votes. And then Cincinnati and Utah are 8-5. Could this be Wes Miller's final season in Cincinnati? We have to see. They're going to need to improve.
Are you still high on Cincinnati?
No, different roster. Roster.
Dude, by the way, I don't know how many people know this. Sean, up until probably February 28th, said,
what was not
I'm
to like
still
about
not
him?
out on this
What was not to
Cincinnati
like?
team.
Dan Skillings.
Yeah, I know.
Seamus Lukosius, Jizzle James, Day Thomas,
By the way, Jizzle James.
Aziz Bandago.
Did you see Jizzle James is back on the roster?
Yes.
I don't know what
After
happened
a
there.
suspension. From a statistical standpoint, really quick, just some quick things. Baylor is averaging 96 points per game. Oklahoma State averaging 92 points a game. Those 2 teams pace the conference, but Iowa State and Arizona both over 90. Kansas is 4th in the conference in terms of points allowed per game at just 63. Houston, unsurprisingly, leads the way, 60 points per game. West Virginia, 60.2. Iowa State, 62.9. Those 3 teams are above Kansas in terms of
historical
points allowed.
defensive powerhouses, too.
Yeah.
Houston, West Virginia, Iowa State. I mean, those are the
and
3 that you
Iowa
expect
State's
to be at the top on the defensive side of the ball. Kansas, by the way, in terms of points per game scored, they're 15th in the conference right now.
Yeah.
75.8. The only team below them is Cincinnati.
Perhaps a star freshman could help that. Team 3-point field goal percentage. Again, Iowa State, that's what they do. They lead the conference at 41%. And it should be noted that second in the conference shooting threes is UCF at 40.7 points per game. K-State hovering right around 40% as well. Kansas is 14th in team 3-point percentage at 35.6. Of course, we've only gotten about 4 games out of Darren Peterson. On the flip side, you know who leads the conference in opponent 3-point field goal percentage? It's Kansas. 25.2% is all KU is allowing from the perimeter. That is significantly better than number 2 in the conference is Houston at 29%. So Kansas getting it done defensively. Some other things I want to look at before getting into stats too deep. Let's just look at some individuals so some of our listeners are aware. Really quick, some numbers that fans care about. Leading the conference in scoring, A.J. Debanta with 23.1 points per game. Not surprising there. P.J. Haggerty of K-State, again, he's a volume guy, 22.9. And then some names you probably don't know at 3 and 4 in scoring per game. Terrence Brown from Utah, 21.5 points per game. Cameron Carr from Baylor, 21.3 points per game. And then you get into the JT Toppins and Christian Andersons of the world, both for Texas Tech, averaging upwards of 20 points per game. The leading scorer for Kansas on this list is 20th, Flory Badunga, 14.7, and Trey White is 14.5. Of course, Darren Peterson has not played enough games to qualify on that front. And then the other one that I know people are always interested in, 3-point percentage from an individual standpoint, Milan Momcilovic for Iowa State, 53.8% from three. Abdi Bashir Jr., the Monmouth transfer for K-State, he's shooting 48% from three.
Kansas was high on him, too.
Day Thomas, 46.7. Christian Anderson, 43.6. And Richie Saunders is a little bit further down.
I might be looking
the
at a
list.
different one than you. I have number 1 on mine is Victorious Miller from Oklahoma State. He's shooting 54.3% from three. But he only has
not qualified. Yeah, doesn't have enough attempts on that front. So the official one's Momcilovic, who, again, is just an NBA prospect to a T, right?
Yeah.
He's long. He can rebound. He's got a stroke. He can hit guarded shots. He's got a quick release. Iowa State, they're loaded again. But, yeah, to sum up basically the Big 12 outlook here, Iowa State, 3rd in the country, Arizona 1st, and some teams that you'd expect, BYU at 10 and Texas Tech at 15. Houston is always going to hover. They're at 8. Kansas still in the top 25 and comfortably at 17. And we won't have a new poll until January 5th. That'll be after KU takes on UCF. That goes down in Orlando, 1 p.m. on Saturday. We're going to have all sorts of coverage these next couple days on Rock Chalk Sports. In advance of that, we'll preview the nights with a little bit of a deep dive tomorrow to open the show. Crimson and Blue coverage, by the way, on Saturday starts at 11:30 on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Hey, more coming up on Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Dan Courtwright is the name of him. My name is Sean Kellerman. Thanks for joining us here on Rock Chalk Sports. Dan, what are we talking about here in this next segment that's brought to us by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence?
That's right. Game Day Men's Health Lawrence here in Lawrence.
We're going to work out perfectly in regards to your top 10, right?
It will, because you guys need to go get yourselves checked out, whatever it may be, right? Just make sure that all the lights are turning on and off in the body. You know what I mean? They have a plush man cave-like setting, really great space there. Game Day Men's Health, friendly front desk service. They're just absolutely the best. I went in there the other day, and it's a really cool place. And obviously, this is a perfect time to go get yourself checked out. If you're making a New Year's resolution to make yourself healthier, happier, whatever, just make sure that everything's working. I know it's easy to kind of push it off to the side and say, yeah, I'm not feeling great, but it'll probably pass. Well, it's always good to go get yourself checked out, and you can go to Game Day Men's Health Lawrence for free on your first visit.
Yeah, if you are chasing peak performance, trying to reignite intimacy, anything like that, they can help you over at Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. 50% of all men experience low T by the time they're 40, and 60% of all men experience ED at some point in their life. They can help you over at the Game Day Men's Health Lawrence facilities. Again, it's a great setting, and really appreciate their partnership. Now's the time with the New Year's resolution to get over there, get yourself checked out, and make sure everything's working. Again, like Dan said, everything's complimentary on the first one. They have a 3-step process that involves a blood draw. They'll get you some quick results as well. So shout out to Mitch Bales and everybody over there.
Make sure it's super comfortable too, right?
Yep.
It's always really weird, and nobody likes going to the doctor, and it can be awkward and uncomfortable, but they do such a really good job of making sure that you're comfortable in that setting. So please be sure to check them out. Just Google Game Day Men's Health, Game Day Lawrence, and they'll pop up. You can schedule your appointment right there on the website.
So your New Year's resolutions top 10 that you're about to do.
Yes.
I must ask, because at some point you can be a little bit of a jester. How many of these
jester?
How many of these
what is this, medieval?
How many of these are legitimate? Because
they're all legitimate.
Okay, so I don't know. Sometimes you throw in show up 2 minutes later to work than usual. I don't know.
No.
You would throw in.
Why would I do that?
Eat more pizza.
Why would I
or something
show up
like
2
that.
minutes
I don't
later
know.
to work? No. These are all legitimate.
Legitimate ones. No.
These are all legitimate
no
ones.
No laughing.
No jokes. But these are my New Year's resolutions that I'm going to try to start doing, and ways that will help me attain these New Year's resolutions, so I don't just drop them mid-January.
All right.
You know what I mean? And like I said, you're going to help me. You're going to be responsible for this. This is because you don't have any responsibilities that you're dealing with right now, so you can focus your entire mindset, your attention span on me.
So you've got 10. I don't even have any. But I have time, right? It's only December 30th. I got time.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Yeah.
I'm going to start off with this one. I'm going to start off with number 10 on my New Year's resolution and how I'm going to attain it. My number 10 New Year's resolution is I'm going to eat more vegetables. And the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to eat way more French fries, but I'm going to use Italian seasoning as well. So cilantro, you're talking parsley, you're talking thyme. All these are vegetables that are going on the French fries. That's the way that I'm going. Eating vegetables is good. It's a healthy thing to do, and that's what I'm trying to better my health.
The French fry, or rather the potato, is the most versatile of the vegetables.
It
yes?
absolutely is.
Dude,
hash browns,
my daughter
French
Ava,
fries,
my oldest,
curly fries,
makes me so proud.
steak
but
fries,
what makes me
waffle
proudest
fries.
of hers, tater tots,
tater tots,
sweet potato fries. What makes
no,
me
not sweet potato fries.
it's still a potato. You don't like
They're
them?
yams.
You know the one thing that
They're
bothers
fine,
me
they're
about
good.
sweet potato
I like
fries, and maybe Elijah, because you seem like a sweet potato fry guy. You're
No,
not.
he's not at all.
Okay. I don't know what to dip them in. That's the problem. They have like
See,
marshmallow sauce. Some people do ranch. That's weird to
Burger
me.
Stand has the marshmallow sauce.
And that's
That
probably
stuff's
my
good.
lean. But I like honey mustard. I've seen people do it with. I just don't really
it's
know.
good.
I need to have a dip.
Yeah, ketchup's a little. I mean, you don't like ketchup.
I don't like
You're not a
ketchup, but
guy.
that's weird with sweet potatoes anyway.
It is. It is weird.
Anyway.
What are you proud of Ava about?
Oh, she loves broccoli.
Ah,
Like loves it.
look at that.
Like last night we had manicotti. Shout out to Kathleen Kellerman who made a frozen manicotti
Manicotti,
for us.
man,
Thawed it
look at that.
overnight.
Nice.
It's like, have you had it before?
Yeah, I've had manicotti, not your mom's,
Right,
but
right. Well, you're missing out. You're also missing out because you hadn't had a cheese ball.
I know.
Courtesy.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that's true.
Which reminds me, Mom, we didn't have one on Christmas. What's
yeah,
going on with that?
Kathleen.
Where's the cheese ball?
Where's the
That was
cheese
a bummer.
balls?
We had
Kathleen?
everything we had was cheese based, but we didn't have a cheese ball.
Can't believe that.
Anyway,
Christmas was ruined because of you.
anyway, yeah, Caitlin or Ava rather will just be throwing back some broccoli. I'm like, man, this is great.
That's nice.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's clutch.
Eat more vegetables.
Eat more
with
vegetables.
French fries and Italian seasoning.
Yeah, French
You got
fries,
it.
Italian seasoning. What all is in Italian seasoning? It's like parsley,
Thyme.
Oregano is a big one. Yeah, just the little flakes. You know, that's more vegetables in my diet, which I think is going to be good for me.
Yeah,
So
I'm
that's-
pretty sure that there's rosemary in there as well.
Yes.
Oregano, basil.
Yeah.
It's really a versatile blend of dried aromatic herbs.
Did you just come up with that? That's amazing. My number 9 New Year's resolution and how I will attain it. I need to go to the gym more. And the way that I'm going to do this, I have been going.
Drive your vehicle?
Huh?
You're going to drive your vehicle?
I'm gonna drive my vehicle. I'm gonna go to the gym. I've been going to Genesis lately, and what I've been doing while Piper goes and does her workouts, I've just been playing basketball the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, by the way, it is a fantastic.
Do you get like fives? Do you run fives?
So usually I'm just the only one in there, so I'm just putting up shots.
Yeah.
I throw in the AirPods. I
Yeah.
put up some
but you
shots
have
for.
the mindset
Yeah,
of
but I'll put up some shots for about 5 minutes, and then I will go and sit at their little bar and drink a smoothie, a shake.
yeah.
And that's going to the gym, and that's what I think is.
Can you
I
get
don't
me in
li-
for free?
I'm not lifting. Probably not.
Oh.
You can just walk. You just walk in, tell them you know me.
Yeah. And they'll say, okay, bye.
Yes, and then they'll say, okay, thanks. Where's our money? But yeah, no, I have been going to the gym more, but I've only been playing basketball.
Okay. Still.
I probably do need to start lifting.
It's still a workout.
It's still a workout. Basketball is a great workout.
But you got to have a second person,
the
one-on-one.
moment somebody walks in, I'm out.
Right.
I'll have the gym to myself for the other day. I had it to myself for like a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. I was just putting up shots, hitting some threes.
I remember once because when you're like in middle school and maybe even into high school, that's like a thing you do because you want to. Like we had a basketball hoop out on our driveway, and you
Right.
just go out and shoot hoops, right?
Absolutely.
I remember the first time I said that to like this girl I was flirting with or whatever. I don't know if I was texting or what, but I was like, yeah, go outside and shoot hoops. I didn't think, and she like laughed, like that was funny. I'm like,
What?
I'm like, no, it's like
What, you're going to go out and play?
It's like an
Yeah.
activity.
Yeah.
Right. Go outside and play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it is very funny though, because I do go with my fiance, and she'll essentially, like, the basketball gym is essentially a daycare for me while she actually
Right.
goes and does an actual
Right.
workout.
Yeah,
And I'm
that
just
is-
like,
that is funny.
I'm in there playing
Yeah.
basketball and
I do
and
like
doing different
that,
stuff.
that
I dunked
number
it the
10
other day.
and number 9 are like the most common New Year's resolutions that everybody makes.
Yeah, I
Eat
get a lot.
healthier and go to the gym.
Yeah. Well, eat more vegetables and go to the gym. Yeah. I shared that video. I dunked it the other day.
Yeah.
So by the way, I do have a long-standing thing with myself that I have to dunk a basketball at least once a year, and I dunked it the other day,
Yes.
and so I restarted the clock. I have
Doesn't matter the height of the goal.
365
Doesn't
days.
matter the size of the
No, that's
basketball.
not
It just
true.
has to
It's
be
a
done.
10-foot goal. But I did dunk it, and so now I'm restarting the clock. So I got until December 28th of 2026 to dunk a
There
basketball
you go.
again.
You're good. You barely got it in time.
I did. I barely got in time.
All right, what's
there was
number 8?
Number 8 on my top 10 New Year's resolutions that I'm going to do and how to attain them. I'm going to read more. And the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to spend more time on Twitter than I will on Instagram.
Good call.
And I'm going to double down on this. Subtitles on the TV.
That's great.
Isn't that great?
That is a great
Yeah,
call.
subtitles on the TV. That's reading. That's reading more.
Yep.
That's activating my brain.
Subtitles on the TV and more time on Twitter. Okay.
More time on Twitter, less time on Instagram, and then subtitles on the TV. That's just a good way to get those words into my brain.
Activate your brain a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly. Are you a subtitles guy?
I am not, but Caitlin is.
You're
don't
not a subtitles
understand
guy.
subtitles people.
Why?
I really don't.
Sometimes I just don't. I can't hear or don't understand it.
I've never understood that. I
Hmm.
mean, I've got the volume on for a reason,
Sure.
and it's blocking off the screen. It's actually a pet peeve. of
Barely.
mine.
It is on the
it's a pet
bottom.
peeve
You
of
can
mine.
see it's not like it's. They're not taking up the. No, that's ridiculous. No, I'm a big subtitles guy. So if I'm watching a new movie, I'll watch it the first time through without. And then if I ever revisit that movie,
Okay.
I'll watch it again with the subtitles.
Okay.
And usually I'll like catch something. I'm like, oh, he said, I didn't even realize he said that one thing. You know what I mean?
I get that maybe to an extent.
If it's new, then
Or-
fine.
or
But
if
it's
you don't know what's
if I'm
being
like
said,
rewatching
right.
How I Met Your Mother or something, or Friends or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm throwing on the subtitles 100% because
Yeah.
I'm usually scrolling on my phone and then I can like kind of like look up and read. So I'm doubling down on the reading with more Twitter and subtitles on my TV. So you're gonna help me be accountable for this.
course.
So
I think
you
I
are
can do
going to
that.
schedule out my Twitter
There
time.
are TVs here at the Kansas Nation Studios. We just got to pop the subtitles on all
There's
of them.
no subtitles on them.
Yeah, we need to pop them on.
No subtitles I don't see.
Yeah.
Number 7.
Number 7.
On my top 10 New Year's resolutions that I'm going to do and how I will attain them, I'm going to say happy birthday to everyone that I know. And the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to send one big mass text to everybody on January 1st and just tell them I'm early.
I love it.
Isn't that good?
I had somebody, I don't remember if it was it wasn't like a instant message app. Maybe it was like, remember there was a time Skype was big?
Yeah, that's
Kind
weird.
of. I don't remember exactly, but you could put your status, and maybe this was on Facebook. I don't remember what it was, but one of my friends just had as his status permanently throughout the year, happy birthday to everybody whose birthday is today. And it just, no matter when you checked it, you got a happy birthday message.
That's great. That's so nice. No, that's super nice. It's a conversation starter too.
I'll
Maybe
text
it's
you on
somebody-
January 1st to send that out.
Yeah, maybe if somebody, you haven't talked to in a while and you're like, man, I really want to reconnect with this person. You know what? I'm going to tell them happy birthday. Well, wait, their birthday's in August. Guess what? I'm
January
getting
1st.
before you in January.
Hope you have a great year. Want to get ahead of this.
and say happy birthday. Happy really early birthday.
We'll chat with you in 2027.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. I think that's probably the way to do it. Now, that's a lot of text to send out in one day. So that's going to take up a big chunk of my day.
How
on
about
the
one
first.
big group text?
One big group text would be good. I think, you just have a group text of like 300
You got to
people
go
on
into
it.
like work phones and
That's good.
landlines.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's really good. But yeah, I think saying happy birthday to people is good though.
is.
That actually was a New Year's resolution of mine a few years ago, and I kept up with it pretty much the whole year. Like I was like, oh, I haven't spoken to this person in a while, and it's their birthday. I'll tell them. I usually wouldn't tell you happy birthday, but I will. You know what I mean? And it was good. I rekindled some relationships there, so I thought that was nice. Number 6. I'm on number 6 now. Number 6 on my New Year's resolutions and how I will attain them. Go to sleep earlier. This one is going to start on Daylight Savings Day.
Okay.
So that's how I kind of, it kind of forces me to. It forces the world to go to sleep earlier.
Starts on daylight savings.
Starts on
Got
Daylight
it.
Savings. So text me on Daylight Savings and say go to sleep earlier.
And what day is that?
Is it May? When?
When is daylight savings? Well, I know it's in November for the opposite. March.
March. Look at that. So March 8th, I will be going
So
to
you
sleep. I will start going to sleep earlier.
So you spring forward because that's how we remember it, right?
Yeah, spring forward, fall back. So fall comes around. So essentially from March
it gets
to
earlier.
Yeah, so from
Yeah.
March to November, I'm going to be going to sleep earlier.
Okay.
which is going to be good for my health.
What are you going to do otherwise? Because there are other months in 2026 as well.
See, and that's the thing. I just, some of these things just...
It's impossible to be 100%.
Some of these things, yeah, you can't. I mean, what do you expect me to follow through?
I like that, though.
For the whole year?
I mean, that's a good, 8.5 months
Yeah.
that you're going to sleep earlier?
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's pretty
right?
good. That's a good percentage.
No, it's nice. And, you can go to sleep earlier, too.
And
but
obviously this
How
will end
have
on
you been
daily.
sleeping, by the way?
Great.
I can't imagine.
Great. My wife as well. This has been going fantastic.
That's nice.
Yes.
Number 5 on my New Year's resolutions that I want to do, quit smoking. I never started. So
Good.
I'm off to a really good start.
Good. Quit smoking. Never started.
So just text me and remind me to don't start smoking.
Okay.
And
I'll do that on January 1st.
That's a really easy one that I can just roll through. That's
yeah.
That's
I mean,
super easy.
I see a way that you can make all these happen.
Yeah.
Eat more fries.
Yeah.
Don't actually work out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I play basketball.
Watch more TV. Scroll your phone more.
Mm-hmm.
Send one text to everybody.
Bingo.
Don't change anything about your sleep schedule, and don't change anything about your smoking schedule. You're off to a great start.
I'm killing it right now, dude.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty well. What was that, number 5? So let's go with number 4 on this list. Similar to the last one, I'm going to drink less. And the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to start taking shots instead of drinking beer.
Good call.
Volume.
Good call.
We're talking
yes.
volume here.
Drink less.
Drink less.
Yes.
I'm drinking less liquid.
So more shots.
More shots, less beer.
Less beer.
So I'm going to switch to only liquor.
Okay. Is this going to start? So you're good. You're good to slug some beers tomorrow on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, tomorrow
Okay.
is the last day I'm drinking beer. Then I'm going straight to Everclear.
Yes. Great. Everclear. God. Everclear and UV Blue.
Yeah. Oh man.
Although UV Blue, you might have to drink like a beer's worth to make that.
Yeah, that's
count.
true. Man, I used to kill some UV Blue back in the day.
Man.
You should have seen me.
I love looking back at pictures of just like the old branding of beers or something, or like, oh my God, I can't believe we had a bottle of this in college.
Right.
Like, what were we doing drinking this? Like, there's like a butterscotch rum or something. I'm like, who the hell brought
Dr.
that?
McGillicuddy's root beer.
Yeah,
yeah, like
I mean,
that stuff.
Who
like,
brought the Barton's vodka? Like, this is so bad.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I like the old branding too. Everything turned so minimalist, and it used to be like
the old,
fun and
I like the old
maximalist.
Bud Light can.
Yeah, those are fun. Busch Light cans are great.
Yeah.
Natty
The natty old cans are back.
They brought
now.
back the retro ones, which I liked.
Yeah.
I do like
The
that.
Bud Light can that's got like the Budweiser.
Miller Lite used to be cool. Remember the Vortex? The bottles with a vortex, so it would shoot beer down your gullet faster.
Is that how it was?
That was the thing.
I just don't like.
I
don't know if guys can see it, but that's a good. My computer's plugged in, but that's a good looking Bud Light can.
That's solid.
I mean, it's got
So that's how it was when you were
Budweiser.
probably 30.
Yeah, exactly.
35 years old.
Yeah,
That's
back when I was
how-
35.
Back in the day. Yeah, I thought you're so old. I thought you used to drink your liquor out of a big jug with 3 X's on the side.
You're gonna have to show me one of those. I don't get the reference.
My goodness. Anyway,
All right, number 3.
number 3 on my top 10 New Year's resolutions that I will, that you will help me attain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start running, and the way that I'm going to do this is
Wait until the last second before you have to pee.
No, I'm going to rob a bank.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Which one? Just so we know.
I'm not telling you.
Yeah. Start running.
I'm going to rob a bank because
and then you're gonna start running.
That puts some stakes in it, and that forces me to run, which I think will be good for me in the long run, right?
Good exercise.
It will be good for me.
Obviously, if you're at the gym playing basketball,
Yeah.
you're probably Cadillacing it a little bit.
I'm going to wear a wolf mask and a Chiefs jersey.
Yes.
And I think that'll be
Are you
good.
the KC Wolf? Is that what's going on?
No. You remember Chiefsaholic? Remember that guy?
Oh, that's right.
He was robbing banks on his way to Chiefs
Man.
games to pay for the tickets.
Right.
That guy was
that's
awesome.
dedication.
I know.
Yeah.
That guy was cool.
Didn't have to happen on Christmas.
So I could rob a bank. So you're gonna help me with that. You'll help me rob a bank.
That'll be an Elijah thing.
Okay, Elijah, you're gonna help me rob a bank.
Can't put my name on that.
Or here's a simpler one, I suppose. I could just leave the gate to my backyard open, and my dogs can get out.
Yeah.
That's
Especially
probably
Mac.
Yeah, Mac. Charlie's a sprinter, dude. Both of those guys, they just.
Does Piper take him on runs?
Not on runs. We do take him on walks. But yeah, we'll leave him outside. But we have this like janky old gate that we have that's tied together with like a bungee cord.
Yeah.
Leave it open, and
Right.
that'll force me to run.
Totally. You're gonna have to
But
save
I
the
like
dogs.
I like robbing the bank better.
Yeah.
Should I rob a bank?
There's more green in that.
Tell me if I should rob a bank or not. Should I do it?
Hey.
All right, I'm
if
doing
you
it.
gotta
Sean
exercise-
told me to,
If you
by the
gotta
way.
exercise, you gotta exercise.
This is on record. Number 2 on my top 10 things, top 10 New Year's resolutions that I want to do and how I will attain them. I will try new foods. So that just means I'm going to be going out to eat more.
Cool.
Yeah.
Go out to eat more. All
Go
right.
out to
Give
eat
me an
more.
example. Where have you not tried in Lawrence?
Well, there's a lot of places that I've tried, and I'm such a creature of habit that, I'll usually get the same thing. But I have, what's actually crazy? I live right by Chili's. I haven't been since I've lived in Lawrence.
God,
last time I went to a
went
Chili's
into
was like
Chili's
pre-COVID.
once, and then I looked at the menu. I was like, man, I can't. Like, I didn't sit down. I looked at the menu. I was like, oh my God, I cannot afford like an $80.
Was it expensive?
Yeah. Although we did go to Chili's when we did a road trip last summer or whenever it was, and I got that's where they have the Nashville hot mozzarella sticks. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you can have those about once every 5 years, or else you'll die. They're that good, though.
Yeah, they're good. What are some places that I haven't been? I mean, there's
You went to Terrebonne downtown,
we
and you
did-
got
yeah.
the po' boy,
Went
but
to-
you need
went to
to
Terrebonne.
yeah, you
We got
do
an
need to
alligator
branch
po'
out a little
boy.
bit. You need to get the gumbo.
yeah. This sushi place haven't been there yet.
What do you get? Like at Buffalo Wild Wings, you probably always get the wings.
Yeah,
Johnny's
I
Tavern
actually,
in West Lawrence, a great local sports bar with over 13 locations from Raymore to Topeka. What do you usually get?
It depends. Dude, so I got that nuke. Was it
Nuke
The-
Lelouch. And then I told you
Nuke
to add the cream cheese.
That was a great
God,
call
dude.
by you.
Dude, I
know
am
what?
so good at enhancing meals. I'm like, no, you got to
gotta
add the
get it.
jalapenos.
Yeah, that's good. There's a lot of places. I mean, I've been to a lot of places here in Lawrence, but there's places that I just haven't been. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I've been to Limestone. I don't think I've been to 715.
I probably need to do this as well. And I
haven't been
love
to
a good
the new
eat out.
the new Oriad
Yeah.
which
I
I don't
also
know how
haven't been
much
there.
they've changed it, but it was Bird
Bird
Dog.
Dog Bar.
Now it's Rock and Hawk.
Yeah.
So I haven't been there. So I'm just gonna go out to eat more.
Cool.
Try new foods.
I definitely can help you on that front.
expand my
Only thing that I
horizons,
don't think I
if
can
you
help you out so far is the drinking less because beer is just going to be tough to say goodbye to.
will. Yeah, and that's the thing. I might still drink beer.
You might
but
just have to do like stouts and porters.
I'll do it in moderation. How
Yeah,
about that?
okay.
I'll mix in a shot. Like I'll go beer
Yeah.
shot.
Totally.
It's just
One bourbon, one shot.
and we're
one
talking
beer.
volume. Number 1 on my top 10 New Year's resolutions and how I will attain them. I'm going to stop hitting the snooze button. And you know how I'm going to do this?
Don't set an alarm.
Don't set an alarm.
Yes.
You got it. You hit the nail on the head. I'm not going to set any more alarms for the rest of my life to stop hitting snooze.
This is great. You're
is
doing
great.
a lot of
Yeah.
You're doing a lot of self-help things. It looks like.
I am. I really am improving
Which
my
essentially
lifestyle.
is more vegetables. Don't
Yeah.
work out. Watch more TV. Don't take the time to wish people happy birthday
Mm-hmm.
legitimately. Don't change anything about your sleep schedule.
Start drinking more liquor.
Although you're going to continue to not smoke, that's probably good.
Yeah, no, I'm
drink
not-
more
yeah.
liquor,
Yeah.
rob a bank,
Yep.
spend more money eating out, and sleep in.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
pretty good,
I think
right?
that's doable.
I have one honorable mention. I want to learn how to play an instrument. I have a triangle in the mail right
Triangle, yeah. I was going to
Yeah.
say you probably couldn't master a harmonica.
now.
What about the cymbals?
cymbals would be good.
Cymbals
That
would be
could be
good.
good.
Or what's
Some
the
kind
thing?
of percussion instrument.
What's the circle thing with the circle thing with the chimes on the around it?
Circle
What is
thing
it
with
called?
the
You
chimes?
bang it like a drum. What is it? Tambourine.
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 Oh,
yeah.
Sure.
Totally.
Tambourine.
Nailed it. You could do that.
By the way, did you know this? I was in band in high school. I was first chair trumpet.
Did you do
for-
triangle? Oh, trumpet.
I was first chair trumpet for like 3 years.
Look at that.
Yeah, dude. I was
Proud
pretty
of you.
good. I can play the ukulele. I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah.
I actually played a ukulele while my sister
I mean,
walked down
that's-
the aisle.
Hey, that's not nothing.
Yeah, but I want to learn another one.
I
I
am
have
just not
I
musically
have a
inclined.
piano that's collecting dust
Yeah.
in my basement right now. But I want to learn another instrument. I think it's good. I think it's good for me.
Piano's a nice touch. Even
Do
if
you have
don't know
any?
how to play it.
Any New Year's resolutions that you're looking at?
I will try to think. You know what? I will think on it and give you something tomorrow before we sign off. Our final show of 2026, man. What a year it's been. 2025, man. What a year it's
I'm
been.
gonna say, what are we getting fired?
Final show of 2025 coming up tomorrow. That's Dan's list of New Year's resolutions. No jester. Dan Courtwright.
No, they're all legitimate
They're all
things.
legitimate. After this, a little sports rip around on Rock Chalk Sports. Thanks for watching on KansasNation.com. Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here on KansasNation.com. Dan, I feel like we don't pump up this venue yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done it before, but we don't do it enough.
It's really cool.
We are very fortunate in partnership with Sports Radio 810 WHB to have this state-of-the-art venue, Kansas Nation, here on 9th and Massachusetts Street. If you're walking down Massachusetts and enjoying the lights, which that's one thing that helps me feel a little bit better about Christmas, is that the downtown Lawrence, they
procrastinate like the rest of us.
They don't
keep
take the beautiful Christmas lights up. But, yeah, if you're strolling down here, then take a peek in. We've still got our Christmas tree up, and that's probably going to be up for a while because we're still in the holiday spirit.
Exactly.
But, really cool, state-of-the-art.
Oh, I had my family Christmas yesterday.
Oh, yeah, how'd it go?
It was incredibly chaotic. There was 2 children.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Are you
two kids?
2 kids?
I know. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Dude.
How did anybody get anything done?
You know what? It's just like, and that here's the thing. Like, after spending that one Christmas for 2 hours with 2 kids, I feel your pain.
Yes. Then you had 2 dogs to go home to?
Yeah, and it was just a lot.
Did people give gifts? Did people eat food? How did it go?
No, we had tacos and enchiladas.
Nice.
So that was nice.
No tamales. Wow.
No tamales.
Teresa.
I know. Yeah, what's she doing?
Yeah.
But got some cool gifts. I got a SpongeBob speaker.
Nice.
That was fun.
Is it a sponge?
No, it's a little SpongeBob guy, and it has like jellyfish, and you fill it with water.
Cute.
And the sound from the speaker like blows the jellyfish around.
Huh.
It's fun.
That's fun.
I know.
How about that?
That was neat. I also got some sweaters and some different trinkets and this and that and whoosy whatsits.
Well, I expect to see some whoosy whatsits and some trinkets up here at some point soon. All right. Well, let's talk a little sports whip around here before the top of the hour when we are going to be joined by ESPN Kansas City. Monday Night Football last night. Maybe not the most intriguing game of the year because the Rams had already been set in a wild card spot. 3 winner-take-all games in the NFL. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and we'll have more on it tomorrow. But that's going to be awesome next week. 2 of them on Saturday. We got Panthers-Bucks. We got Niners Seahawks.
Yeah.
And then Sunday Night Football is Ravens-Steelers. All of that will determine something. 2 of them determining the division, the other determining the 1 seed in the NFC. So the Rams, not going to be the 1 seed, not going to win the NFC West. They got down early to the Falcons. It was actually 21-0. Bijan Robinson, he's a little bit different out there.
He is.
Rams,
93 yards?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And that was one of just a
93-yard
couple touchdowns.
Yeah, not 93 yards total. 93-yard touchdown.
Right.
It was unbelievable.
And, he is representing Texas as well. But the Rams came all the way back. It was 27-24 after a late Falcons field goal, and then Elijah's got this photo that he's going to pull up for us. Puka Nacua, who has transitioned, and Dan, I don't know if you have a strong take on this or not, he's transitioned to a top 2 receiver in the NFL, and he ain't number 2. Is that legit?
Probably. I mean, here's the thing. Matt Stafford loves one wide receiver. So you had to kind of figure that it was going to be somebody. Thought it was going to be Cooper Kupp, and it has turned into Puka Nacua.
Right. Well, it was Cooper Kupp, and Kupp now is in Seattle.
Yeah, right. And it was, but also like Puka Nacua's first year, like it was transitioning over to that because a lot of teams were kind of double coveraging Cooper Kupp, and all of a sudden, bam, Puka Nacua comes out of nowhere. Where in
Super
Detroit,
Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, right. But in Detroit, he had Megatron, who just you can double team him and you just can't do anything. I don't think you're wrong about this. He's probably the number 1 wide receiver, at least like at this point. He
might be. I mean, there's a lot of really good wide receivers out there, but I would take him over A.J. Brown. I'd take him over DK Metcalf. I mean, there's a lot of really good. But let's take a look at this catch. It's 27-24. Stafford throws a dart to Nacua on the far sideline. They rule this not a catch. There was the hand of a defender on the ball, but Nacua has his hand on it, secures the catch, and you can see he's got both feet in bounds. That would have put them essentially on the brink of field goal range to potentially give them a game-tying field goal, send this thing to overtime, but they rule it not a catch. If you were listening to the telecast, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were both like, what am I not seeing? I mean, that's one of the greatest catches we've seen, and it probably would have been more than much ado about nothing if the Rams were actually fighting for the 1 seed, right? I mean, could you imagine?
No, I know.
We haven't heard quite as much about it today, but since they're just a wild card, who knows? But yeah, it kind of got hosed on that. It looks like a catch to me. And yeah, the Rams, like I said, they're going to have to try to bounce back. A couple other notes. Nikola Jokic, who
I was about to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry. I know we're running out of time, but like, I went to bed early because I thought this game was over. The Atlanta Falcons, I mean, we're up
out of
by
nowhere.
21, and then all of a sudden the Rams keep on trudging back. I have this weird stat about the Falcons. They lost to the Jets. They got blown up by the Dolphins, and they lost 30-0 to the Panthers. But they've also beat
the Bills
by 2 scores and the 11-4 Ravens.
Yeah.
Like, who
Rams,
are they?
yeah.
Or Rams.
Yeah. Very
Sorry.
strange. Very strange.
What
Nikola
is
Jokic,
what's happening?
We didn't mention this. On Christmas, Jokic in an overtime win over the Wolves where the Nuggets were up big and then went to overtime and then down by 9 in overtime, came back and won. 56 points, 16 rebounds, and 15 assists. He is now out 4 weeks with a hyperextended knee. Unfortunate there for Jokic. And we're going to have some KU women talk a little bit later in the show as well. Stick around for the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to be joined on ESPN Kansas City. Rock Chalk Sports rolls on, kansasnation.com. 5 o'clock hour here on Rock Chalk Sports. Thanks for joining us on ESPN Kansas City and kansasnation.com. I'm Sean Kellerman alongside Dan Courtwright. 5 o'clock hour, we've got a little article talking about the state of college basketball from CBS Sports' Matt Norlander that we're going to dive into. And then after this, going to talk KU football, wide receiver position group breakdown. And then we're going to close out the show. Dan's got some NFL mock draft predictions, thoughts, etc., as the Chiefs are going to be picking a little bit higher than we're used to. And the other thing that we haven't talked about regarding the Kansas City football Chiefs, Dan, is that the schedule is likely going to be a little more flexible next year.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the things, and if you don't mind, a word on the Chiefs really quick.
I don't mind.
This is one of the things that when people talk about how everything caught up to the Chiefs this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that maybe gets lost in the shuffle is the wear and tear of having to face a monster schedule every year. Like, this is, in my opinion, a fluky year for the Chiefs. I mean, I think you look at the past 10 years, and that's not a hot take. Chiefs are 6-10. They won the AFC West for, 9 straight years?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Broncos last won it in 2015 before they won it this year. The Chiefs had a lot of injuries this year, a lot of penalties, and something that I wanted to bring into the light via Chris Canty that I think I maybe said last week. The Chiefs have been bottom 10 in the NFL in rushing. They've been bottom 10 in terms of having the most drops from the receivers. They also are penalized a ton. They also haven't had a good, consistent, or healthy offensive line. And they've also played deep into the season. They've played late January or early February 5 times in the past, 7-8 years.
Yeah.
However long it's been. And now this is a whole everything caught up to the Chiefs. Well, it's true. The other thing is the way the scheduling works in the NFL, the Chiefs, being a division champion, being a team that has a great record, have had to face teams. It's not normal to have to face, even though maybe these teams aren't as good this year, but they have been the past 5 years. The Ravens, the Lions, the Bills, the Eagles. The Chiefs are always having to face top-tier teams. And, this, I think, is kind of widely accepted by Chiefs Kingdom now, that this is an unfortunate year, a disappointing year, a sad year, but also a really good chance for the guys to get healthy and maybe take a step back, have a longer offseason, and be rejuvenated for next year.
I think you said it best a couple of weeks ago when you said it's kind of like the Chiefs can just take a deep breath right now. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, the pressure's off. We have more time off to kind of reassess what needs to happen, and it's been a weird emotional year for the Chiefs, right? And that's not just what's gone on the field, right? You had Patrick Mahomes getting injured. You had a number of different players on their offensive line getting injured. You had, just weird things happening to the Chiefs, losing these one-possession games week after week after week. And then, obviously, the move from Arrowhead to Kansas, right? I mean, that's what's going on circulating in the news right now. So there's just been a lot going on their plates. It's going to be nice to kind of be able to reassess and say, okay, look, now we can take a deep breath. We can focus on who we're drafting, and we can kind of rebuild. And I really think that Brett Veach and company are going to take this time off to really piece this puzzle together in terms of who we can trade away for some capital, who we can, trade player for player, who we need to re-sign, what pieces do we need to pick up in the draft, that kind of thing. It's a different offseason than the Chiefs are used to. Anybody on this Chiefs roster is used to. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to be good. It's weird to say that it's going to be good when the Chiefs don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's weird to be okay with it when we're used to watching the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And now we're going to watch, two other teams. Going to have to get back to old school where it's like you're focused on, playing the square game. Do you play that during the Super Bowl?
Yeah, Super Bowl squares.
Yes, playing Super Bowl squares.
Man,
and just like and having to enjoy like the food and the camaraderie rather than, worried about who's winning the game.
Yeah.
We can do that for a year.
Yeah, we can do that for a year. I mean, you go to a Super Bowl party without any vested interest, unless you have some money on the game or whatever it may be. And then, to your point, the Chiefs are going to have an easier schedule next year because you're not going to see, big Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and the Chiefs or whatever. Like the Chiefs are going to have a little bit more flexibility, and they're probably going to play more noon games. You would imagine, we're not going to see as many primetime games, so that alleviates some pressure off of them. I don't know. I'm finding a sense of solace in this because of the fact that the Chiefs did it. They did what every team is wanting to do. They did it 3 times in the last 5 years. I'm okay. I really am okay. I'm happy with what's happened. Does it suck that the Chiefs aren't in the playoffs? Obviously. Does it suck that Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL this late in his career? Yes, of course it does. But I don't know. I had the utmost trust in Brett Veach and Andy Reid, which, by the way, it did come out that Andy Reid is coming back next year for the Kansas City Chiefs. I just have faith in those guys that they're gonna do what needs to be done, and I don't see this being a multi-year rebuild. I see it being kind of a deep breath. Let's change everything, and then let's get back to it next year.
Well, Andy Reid coming back gives me hope, I would say, that Travis Kelce comes back because Travis Kelce has been very public about his love for Coach Reid. So neither of them wants to end on a 6-10, 7-10.
Travis Kelce's going to be good next year.
6-11. I still want him to play. I mean, he's one of those things. It's like Salvador Perez to an extent. He's such an icon.
Yeah,
Perez continuing to
Salvi has still been good. Like or not Mahomes.
I'm not saying Kelce has to be as big of a game plan, but I still want him on the team for another year. I don't want him to end on this note, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
And we didn't want him to end when we got crushed by the Eagles in the Super Bowl either. So there's something to be said for that, I guess. But
Jason Kelce.
Yeah,
he left on a sour note.
If you had to give a percentage right now on Mahomes being ready for Week 1,
0.
Okay,
I don't anticipate that at all. I
Week
think
5.
I can see Week 5. Okay. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Do you think Kirk Cousins is going to be a Chief? I mean, it could happen.
No, that would.
You've got to have a little bit of a step up.
The
from
Chiefs
some
aren't
of
gonna
because backups we've had.
The only way the Falcons get rid of him is if they find someone stupid enough for that buyout,
right?
Because he's got a massive buyout. Chiefs aren't going to do that.
Well, I'm very curious.
Unless the Falcons do the stupidest thing in the world and cut him.
I'm very curious.
That would be dumb.
If this is another opportunity, another positive thing, I guess, is, and I told you this last week after watching the Titans game, it's kind of eye-opening. My dad said this when we were watching, how good of a team or not good of a team we actually have if you take away Mahomes. That's how it was. And again, I had problems with the Titans game in general because it was a game where it was the first time you didn't have anything legitimate to play for in 10 years or whatever, and it showed. And I didn't like that at all.
Right.
But it shows what kind of a roster, what kind of a team the Chiefs have without Mahomes. And hopefully it's an eye-opener to the front office like, whoa. We have more problems than just Mahomes being hurt in this game, or more problems than just a few things. The Chiefs have to clean up the penalties. I mean, it's so painful all year how many penalties there were. And you notice how I'm kind of taking accountability for the Chiefs on that rather than complaining about the officials or how we're getting cheated.
It's very noble
compared to some other things. Yeah, but you got it. Offensive line has to be first and foremost. And if you're a wide receiver, you can't catch the ball, you're done.
Yeah.
You got to catch the ball.
You had 2 starting offensive linemen who had never played in the NFL before, and Esapole and Chu. What was his name? I can't remember the other guy's name.
79?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
No, I think 79 was. Juwan Taylor. I think was that Juwan Taylor? I can't
74
remember.
was Taylor.
Yeah, 74 is Taylor.
Yeah.
79.
It was such
something.
a makeshift offensive line.
You had a lot of injuries and you had some weird stuff, but look, Joshua Simmons, he's going to be coming back. I think that's going to be nice. Kingsley has really stepped in, and I think that left guard spot is the perfect spot for him, as opposed to the left tackle spot where he was just an absolute turnstile. I think he's really settling in. You extend Creed. Yeah, Esapole, but who's the other one?
Gosh, it's such a makeshift.
Chu Godric or something?
Chu Godric.
That sounds right. Am I wrong about this?
Yes.
Oh!
Chu, yeah, but his full name, do you know his full name?
No.
Chukwuemeka Godric, if I'm saying that correct.
Okay. Chu Godric. But both of those guys had not played in the NFL, and they were protecting the $500 million man, and he wound up tearing his ACL.
Yeah.
So as much as, and we can get into the mock draft later, but as much as you probably want the Chiefs to draft a running back because
it's fun.
Chiefs were horrible.
You do need to draft a running back.
I also hate drafting running backs in the first round.
Yeah.
And again, we can get
Bijan
more
Robinson.
Well, no, okay, relax. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, for example.
32nd. Okay.
It's first round.
Okay.
First round draft pick.
Right.
There's a number. Eddie Lacy.
No, absolutely. I get it. There's a lot of flameouts that position. But the Chiefs need a running back.
Yeah.
They do. Preferably two of them. Kareem Hunt's great on 3rd and 1. He is. He's great on 3rd and 1.
He is.
Isaiah Pacheco hasn't been the same since his injury, unfortunately. I always had high
Kareem
hopes
Hunt,
for him.
he's gonna be 31.
31. Pacheco will be age 27 season. So yeah, that's the thing. But
the running backs.
And that was the other area that I mentioned is that the Chiefs have also had a terrible run game.
Mm-hmm.
The franchise is Patrick Mahomes. And again, I'll credit Chris Candy again because he's the one who brought this up. Chiefs have had no run game. They've had a terrible group of pass catchers in terms of catching the ball because they've had so many drops. And they've had struggles on the offensive line.
Yeah.
The 2 Super Bowls that the Chiefs got waxed, it was because they didn't have a healthy offensive line.
That's very true.
And they've got to get that fixed. And they need to now take a look in the mirror and say, okay, we understand the roster as a whole needs a major overhaul. And again, hopefully this is kind of a slap in the face to the front office of, we can't just keep having Mahomes try to cover up everything that has been bad for us.
Yeah.
Hey, this opening segment in the 5 o'clock hour brought to you by Crown Automotive. Want to shout out Miles Schneider and his team over there. They will get you in the car that you need. If you need a new ride for 2026, that's the place to go. Crown Automotive on South Iowa. Appreciate their partnership. Matt Norlander had an article, Dan, CBSSports.com, talking about Dan Hurley's reaction to Baylor adding a former NBA pick in season. Hurley evidently saying that college basketball needs a commissioner. Hurley, of course, one of a few coaches, as is our own here at KU, to win 2 national championships. But Baylor recently, in the past week or so, announcing that they added a 21-year-old big man, James Nagy, who was a 2023 NBA draft pick. Norlander evidently texted Dan Hurley, and Hurley responded with a long voice memo that I'll give a few snippets of. Again, this full article is on CBSSports.com. Hurley essentially saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, I just had no idea that that was even an option. I actually thought it was a joke. When I saw it, I assumed that when you stay in the draft or you got drafted, you would forego your college eligibility. I was not aware of the loopholes in it. He goes on to talk about how player empowerment is good, but he wants to know who's looking out for college basketball, who's protecting college basketball. Mentions that March Madness is the second biggest annual sporting event every year. We need a commissioner. He says we need rules, we need guidelines. He says the frustrating part is we all are willing to adapt and play this new game in this new era of college sports, or whether it's G League. I don't know where we're in exactly right now, but it's frustrating to play when you don't know the rules and the rules are being made up as you go. There's no communication and there's no leadership. So I think college basketball needs a commissioner. Just some of the things that Dan Hurley said in this article written by Matt Norlander, CBSSports.com. We've heard John Calipari as well comment on this. Dan, you've been vocal about the NCAA, and it's just frustrating because everybody knows that it needs to change. People don't know the answers, but smart people in the business, people who have been in the business for a while, people who care a lot, have given legitimate options, and it just feels like you don't hear anything from the powers that be in the NCAA, and these things just happen, and it's just a shock to everything. And again, making up rules as we go. Really frustrating. I think everybody's on board with college basketball evolving. Everybody wants to adapt and understands the need to adapt, and yet they just want some rules, some guidance. My 2-year-old toddler, she just wants a structure. She just wants guidance, right? Understands that there are rules and things. And, it's the same deal when we're adults. It's the same deal no matter what we're dealing with. And now it's getting to the point where change needs to happen in the next year, I would say, or more people are going to move away from college basketball, college football, like we've seen. And we don't know that all of these names are people who have moved away from college athletics because of this, but you look at somebody like Tony Bennett, you look at somebody like Roy Williams, you look at somebody like Nick Saban. I mean, a lot of names move on, and it's not an accident that it's in the middle of this new world of college athletics, which unfortunately is more of a mess than the new correct world.
Yeah, I think the James Najee thing is one of the bigger shoes to drop in all of this, because he literally was drafted 31st overall. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the first pick in the second round, right? There's 30 NBA teams. Now, technically, he never played in the G League. Technically, he never played in an NBA game. So technically, he was never a professional athlete. I get that. And that's lawyer speak. Once lawyers start getting involved and once waivers start being petitioned, and it feels as though the NCAA is just handing out waivers left and right, and there's so much money involved now that it just is unbelievable. And I get it, right? Like you said, Tony Bennett, Roy Williams, Nick Saban, they're guys who are just over it. They don't want to deal with the new era of college athletics. I think I have been adamant about this, by the way, in the first place. And I'll get back to this in a sec, but this is just something that fans should not be footing the bill for these players. In terms of NIL, NIL became a thing, and they said, oh, great, now we can have fans pay the players. We'll have fans donate money and have them do a commercial or whatever, and sometimes they don't even have to do stuff. They just say it's NIL money for whatever. They throw it into a big pot, and they distribute it all. Meanwhile, the schools and the NCAA in and of itself, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, doesn't have to pay a single dime to these athletes. Now, with rev share, that's changing. Now you have $20 million that you can distribute. Plus, you have NIL sponsorships that you can utilize where, it goes through a third party in Deloitte, and they will determine your actual worth, where instead you can't just be like, oh, hey, here's this walk-on kid who I really like, so I'm going to give him $1 million or whatever. It's like, no. It has to go through a third party, and it has to be approved by this third party in order to be like, hey, this is what you're actually worth. If somebody wants to give you $4 million, but you're only worth $1.4 million, they're only going to allow you to get $1.4 million. They're not going to allow you to go over that budget. So that's a step forward in the right direction, right? But again, I have been consistent about how the fans should not be footing the bill. This should be the NCAA. The NCAA still is off the hook. They're not paying a single dime to any of these athletes, which I think is absolutely egregious, because nobody is watching a college football game because they're a big fan of Charlie Baker, right? He's the president of the NCAA, right? That guy's making out like a bandit. Everyone in the NCAA is as well. Like I said, a multi-billion-dollar corporation built on the backs of unpaid, essentially now, especially when you look at it, and now, today's age, employees. That's the way you need to look at it. And the way that you can fix this is by writing up contracts, right? And I don't want this to happen, but there was an instance of a player who transferred from Georgia to Missouri, who signed a large NIL deal with the University of Georgia, transferred from Georgia, went over to Missouri. It was a $400,000 NIL deal. They paid him $10,000 of it, and then he transferred. Georgia is now suing him for breach of contract for $390,000. But technically, that's a breach of contract. So not that I want this kid, because he doesn't have that kind of money, and I think that's insane. You shouldn't be fleecing the children, the kids on these teams. But again, that's enough to kind of scare a lot of these kids to be like, okay, well, hey, maybe that does push something in the right direction. Maybe I don't know if the answer is to be more litigious, but I think it could
might be.
potentially be. But it might be more litigious. Put more pen to paper. Write out contracts. Right. Then these kids aren't as likely to transfer out and go to 5 different schools in 6 years or whatever it may be, and keep on petitioning for waivers to keep on getting additional years of eligibility. Right. Make them sign a contract, just like the professionals. Right. That's essentially what it is. It's professional football, professional basketball right now. You need to make them sign a contract. And we are seeing that more, right? I just saw Taylor Davis just signed a contract with Kansas to stay at the University of Kansas. I think that's fine, right? But with that comes a lot more jobs and a lot more people to have to oversee these kind of things. And that's where this all ties into this Matt Norlander article, is that there needs to be a commissioner of something where everything funnels through. There needs to be not just a commissioner, there should be a commissioner, but a team of people at the NCAA, because they have so much money and they're not paying it out to anybody, right? Who cares? Now, I understand they're stingy and greedy with their money, but they need to hire teams of people for at least each conference to be able to handle different things like this. Because right now, it's an absolute mess with no regulation, and people keep signing off waivers, and the NCAA is handing them out like hotcakes. There needs to be localized committees, localized boards, if you will, for each individual conference attached with the NCAA for specific things like this, for specific things like breach of contract, for writing up contracts, for dealing with NIL deals in terms of how much you're actually worth, in terms of distributing the money evenly amongst all of the athletic departments. So, yes, I 100% agree with Dan Hurley. I 100% agree also that the kids need to be paid, but the fans should not be the ones footing the bill. It should be the NCAA and the schools. So, yeah, that's just a long-winded answer to say, yeah, I agree with Dan Hurley on this particular instance.
Yeah, and again, there's got to be structure. There's got to be rules.
Yeah, I mean, you
And
need
it's
to make
frustrating
it
'cause we've been saying
hyper localized.
this
It's
for how long?
big and national right now, and there's so much stuff going on underneath. You need to have it hyper localized. I think each conference needs to have its own commissioner. Essentially, I don't think college basketball needs one. I think each conference needs to have one. Maybe you have one guy who's the head of whatever. But each individual conference needs to have one, because there needs to be more regulation. And when you separate it out like that, look, it's easy. NFL, 32 teams, that's easy. NBA, 30 teams,
Yeah.
that's easy.
When you bring
money.
in college basketball upwards of
college
350.
basketball, 350
Yeah.
teams. Nobody can do that. You need to localize it. You need to break it down to where you have a Big 12 commissioner. Granted, we do have a Big 12 commissioner, Brett
Right.
Yormark, but essentially, you need to have a board to deal with different things like this. It shouldn't have to only flow through Brett Yormark. That shouldn't be one man's job. You need to hire a lot more people. And the NCAA, I know you have the money to hire these people. It takes somebody a lot smarter than me to figure this out, right? I'm an idiot. But I'm smart enough to realize that there is a problem, and there are solutions, and they're not actively looking for solutions.
It doesn't seem, that's the thing, is it doesn't seem like they're talking at all. It doesn't
No.
seem like they're coming forward with any possible solutions at all. It just seems like a piece of news comes out and you're like, I didn't realize that was legal.
Right.
And then 6 weeks later, another piece of news comes out and you're thinking the same thing. Yeah. And meanwhile, it's just become a mess. I mean, people love college sports. College football, particularly bowl games, college football playoff, people love. Bowl games have gone to hell in a handbasket, as my dad would say, because so many people are transferring out. We saw the Birmingham Bowl yesterday, and just the lack of fan support there. I mean, you had a 5-7 App State team and a 6-6 Georgia Southern team, who are conference opponents, by the way. They did battle, and there's a bunch of players who have transferred out and weren't suiting up for their teams. It's just a mess right now, and it's sad as a sports fan. Something's got to get fixed with NIL. Something's got to get fixed with the portal. And, there's just a lot of problems. Hopefully the rev share is a step in the right direction, but there's a lot of questions to still be answered. Matt Norlander has an article, cbssports.com, if you want to check that out, as Dan Hurley's reaction to the news of Baylor adding James Najee, who, again, Baylor They're a Big 12 team. We're going to see James Najee, and he is eligible immediately for the Bears. After this, we're talking KU football, position grade for the wide receivers in 2025. Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com. Game Day Men's Health Lawrence sponsoring this segment. Shout out to Mitch Bales and everybody over there. Take care of yourself, right? Especially with the new year coming up. Make sure that you are the best version of yourself. Make sure you've got energy to be at home with your family. You got energy for the gym, energy for work. If you feel like you're a little lethargic, it might not just be a lack of sleep. There might be some underlying issues. If you go to West Lawrence location, Game Day Men's Health Lawrence, they can help you out. A 3-step process, a blood draw. A lot of men, in fact, 60% of men will have ED at some point in their life, and 50% of men will have low T by the time they turn 40. They can help you out at Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Just a quick blood draw. It's complimentary the first visit. Compliments of Mitch Bales and his team over there. Go on over there and make sure everything is working well, and if not, they can help you get back to being the best version of yourself. You're going to want that in 2026. So big thanks to Game Day Men's Health Lawrence, one of our proud sponsors, proud partners here at Kansas Nation. Dan, let's get into our next position group breakdown. KU football, the wide receiver position. Some good, some bad. Why don't you start us off with, I'm guessing you're going to start us off with number 1.
Yes. I'll start us off with Emmanuel Henderson. By the way, he was number 2 in the spring.
Yeah, very briefly.
I thought I was going crazy. I was like, wait a minute. I could have swore he was number 2, and then he rolls out Fresno State. I was like, who is this guy? So I'm glad that might be a fun trivia question for farther down the line. Yeah, I mean, look, we'll roll through all the wide receivers and kind of explain and break down the seasons that they had. And like you said, it starts with Emmanuel Henderson, the leading receiver on this squad, 45 receptions, 766 yards, average 17 yards per catch. Really impressive stuff. 5 touchdowns on the year. Which that kind of goes to show you because JD had 22 touchdowns on this year, I believe. So he really spread it out, right? And 5 out of 22 is still really good. And Emmanuel Henderson came on super early. We saw flashes of what he can do incredibly early, right? With the Wagner game, he was incredible. He had a kickoff return against West Virginia for a touchdown. Fresno State, he was great too. He had a couple of long receptions that made your jaw drop, essentially, right? So I think when you look at Emmanuel Henderson, you saw the raw athletic ability out of him. You saw the speed. You saw the quickness. The straight line speed was just unbelievable. And it makes you think, like, how the hell did Alabama get rid of this guy? You know what I mean? They just didn't play him whatsoever. He came in as a 5-star running back, transitioned to wide receiver, and really did an excellent job. I was really pleased, again, with the first half of the season. I thought that he was a gigantic part of that first half of what we thought was going to be an electric JD6 year, right? You saw Jalen have Heisman contention numbers, at least in the first probably 4 games, leading into the 6th game, right? Then everything kind of collapsed after the K-State game. Emmanuel Henderson was right there with him, and then teams started figuring that out, that, oh, hey, this Emmanuel Henderson guy is probably JD's number 1 target that he wants to hit. So you saw more double teams. You saw more zone coverages with a high safety on him. It was just tougher to get him the ball, which, again, opened up the field a little bit more and allowed some of those other guys to be able to get catches. But at the head of the snake in that wide receiver room was Emmanuel Henderson. The guy's got NFL talent, and I'm sure he'll get picked up to go somewhere, whether it be the UFL, whether it be practice squad. I mean, hell, who knows? He could even pull a Quentin Skinner and, wind up making his NFL debut next year. But, yeah, by the way, shout out to Quentin Skinner. Made his NFL debut this past Sunday with the New York Football Jets. I'm sorry you had to be with the Jets, but I'm happy for you to be playing in the NFL. So E-Man reminds me a lot of him, except for quicker and stronger than Quentin Skinner, right? Now, in terms of quickness, route running, I think his straight line speed is better than his, left, right. But at the same time, that's still something incredibly valuable that a lot of NFL teams are going to be looking at. But E-Man really, I don't know if he exceeded my expectations. He definitely met them. Right? I mean, I thought that he was going to be the number 1 guy. We all assumed it. I thought he is the prototypical guy to be an 900 yard guy, wound up with 766, but also dealt with some different things in terms of people game planning specifically for E-Man, especially farther into the season. So all in all, he definitely met my expectations.
E-Man, yeah, tied for the team lead in catches with 45. Cam Pickett, a guy that we were also really high on and who will be a very important contributor, we would think, in 2026.
Next year,
45 catches as well, 476 and 3 touchdowns. Saw him out of the backfield a little bit. I know that we really liked that look when he came out of the backfield. He scored the first touchdown for the Jayhawks in the new booth.
That'll be another trivia question, by the way.
It will be. Shout out to him on that front. And then some other guys. Levi Wentz, Dan, 16 catches, 258 and 2 touchdowns. Keaton Kubeka, 17 catches, 157 and a touchdown. And then Bryson Canty essentially closing out the wide receiver room of guys who contributed in some form. 11 catches, 156 and a touchdown. Unfortunately, a lot was left desired from this wide receiver room. You're not going to have a lot of years like 2008 where you have 2 guys catch 90-plus balls.
Right.
But, you know, I think we expected more production. And a lot of this was Jalen Daniels, the second half of the season, just wasn't as good.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case, right? And JD seemed shaken up. And after the K-State game, didn't have a single game where he went over 200 yards. So, I mean, that's important to note. Just down the line, it just was not good. And Cam Pickett turned into kind of that possession receiver that we were talking about, you know, kind of the Luke Grimm type where he could find those soft spots in those zones. And, you know, he really was started to make a name for himself later, but he took a while for him to kind of pick up on it. Also dealt with some injury early on in the season, which is, you know, unfortunate, and that those kind of things happen. Levi Wentz, I was really happy with kind of what came out of him. I was not super high on Levi Wentz coming into this season. I actually was higher on Bryson Canty than I was with Levi Wentz. Levi Wentz is a fascinating story. He only started playing football, I believe, his junior year of high school, and then wound up having 2 incredible years in high school, went over to Albany, and now, you know, with the Hawks. 16 catches for 258 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of them was the presumed game-winning touchdown against Cincinnati. And then so that touchdown would have gone down as one of the best touchdowns, I think, in Kansas football history if the Kansas defense was able to hold Cincinnati's defense with a minute 40 or whatever was left in the game, where Cincinnati goes down and winds up winning the game at the booth. Heartbreaking stuff. But Levi Wentz really did impress me with his route running. I just think it took him a little bit to kind of come on and come to and figure out the speed of the game as well. I think he was playing at the FCS level, and I think the speed of the game was a little bit too fast for him. He did manage to kind of catch up, but you saw him struggling to get separation a little bit, right? So that's the thing with Levi Wentz. Keaton Kubeka, you know, that's a guy who's just been a program guy. He's been here forever, and finally this was kind of his year to kind of get it going. He kind of turned into a little bit of a Luke Grimm there as well. He caught a lot of passes kind of in the intermediate short game where I thought he did an excellent job, but at the same time, you know, you kind of knew he wasn't going to be that number 1 guy. And then going down to Bryson Canty, probably the one that I'm most disappointed in. Now, granted, he did deal with a lot of injuries. He probably sat out for maybe 3 or 4 games potentially.
Oh yeah, it seemed like he was banged up throughout.
So he wasn't 100% a lot of this season. But Bryson Canty, that was the kind of guy that I really wanted to come out and really make an impact, because you saw the raw ability in the route running. You saw the quickness, the lateral quickness left to right, where I really liked where he matched up with a lot of guys and just wasn't able to do it. And you saw flashes too. That's the most disappointing thing. You saw flashes. He had probably 3 or 4 of the biggest catches on the year for Kansas out of his 11 catches, right? He just wasn't able to get that separation, wasn't able to get on the field, was missing a lot of time with injury. Just really unfortunate for Bryson Canty. And then you got guys like Doug Emelian who caught some balls as well. Tate Nagy caught a couple of balls in the Wagner game. You saw Mac Moeller catch a ball in the Wagner game too. Shout out to was he a Rutgers guy or is he Miege?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think he's Miege. I cannot believe I pulled that out of my butt.
We'll see.
I'm relatively certain he's Miege.
Rutgers does not sound right. Miege, good call.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to Mac Moeller.
Shout out to Mac Moeller. Legendary mustache. But yeah, look, I mean, all in all, I was not super thrilled with the way the wide receivers played, except for Emmanuel Henderson. And then, you know, each player had portions where they were good. Emmanuel Henderson, great in the first half. Cam Pickett, good in the middle to back end of it, right? Levi Wentz, good kind of in the middle, a little bit in the back end, but took a while to get going. Bryson Canty, same thing. You saw him kind of in the back end of it, start to kind of pick it up, but that was when JD was playing really bad. It's just a lot that was left on the table for a lot of these guys that you're just really disappointed in what could have been an amazing year for not only these wide receivers, but for Jalen Daniels as well.
2026. Obviously, Kansas is going to have a quarterback competition between, who knows. There's Isaiah Marshall's going to be there, Cole Ballard. We'll see what happens in the portal moving forward. Kansas has to address wide receiver, right? Because presumably you get back Cam Pickett, you get back Keaton Quebec, a couple guys who have been in the program, but you're also losing guys as well.
You're losing your number one.
It seems like
and your number
that's
three.
a really, really important position. Kevin Flaherty, Kansas City Sports Network, was on the show yesterday. He talked about the importance of safety because we don't have a lot of safeties coming in. Maybe Tate Nagy can be a guy who, as a wide receiver, sophomore for Kansas, can contribute, but obviously a smaller guy. You're going to need to get a couple major contributors, you would think, at wide receiver in the portal.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, we're losing our number one guy in Emmanuel Henderson. We're losing our number 3 wide receiver in Levi Wentz, who substantial drop-off, right? Your top 2, you have 45 receptions, and then the next guy on there is Bowden Green with 36, who's a tight end. Then you have Levi Wentz with 16. I guess Keaton Quebec had 17. So Levi Wentz did have 16, but he had substantially more yards than Keaton Quebec. Keaton Quebec was, like I said, it's kind of an intermediate kind of guy. So right now, your number 1 is Cam Pickett and Keaton Quebec. 3, Tate Nagy, maybe, right? I mean, you're losing a lot of guys. You're losing guys like Izzy Moses, right? You're losing a number of different guys lower on the depth chart who could have potentially gotten in. And look, you're bringing in a lot of new guys as well as freshmen, right? You're bringing in guys like Corbin Glasgow, who I think has incredible straight line speed, who is laterally quick. You're bringing in guys like Tyron Parker from Shawnee Heights, who I think personally could be a
freshman contributor.
Yeah, he could be a freshman contributor. That's the kind of guy who I can see having 350 yards next year as a true freshman, right? So they could be contributors, but you need veteran guys in that room. Cam Pickett is a good veteran leader. I think that he will kind of thrive and kind of taking over that leadership role. Same with Keaton Quebec. But the talent isn't quite there in terms of the drop-off between Cam Pickett and Keaton Quebec. Keaton Quebec's just not there. He will continue to get better, and I think that he can get better. Next year could be a breakout year for Keaton Quebec. Who knows? I hope I'm wrong about him not being as good, and I hope he thrives as well. But Kansas, I mean, if I'm looking at it right now, I'm probably looking at 4 wide receivers that are coming out of the transfer portal who can make an impact right away.
Yeah, well, a minimum of 2 impact guys, I would say.
Yeah.
Nate Sims of Ottawa, of course, also a part of the class coming in for Kansas at the wide receiver position as well. But that's our breakdown of the wide receiver position. If you had to give a grade for 2025 for the wide receivers as a whole, tricky when your QB doesn't play as well down the stretch either.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give it a C
for the wide receiver position. All right, we're going to need better than that. If Kansas wants to go to a bowl game, they need those pass catchers, playmakers to be better in 2026. After this, talking a little NFL mock draft. Dan, I'll let you know where the Chiefs sit currently, some potential names to eye, and some of the names at the top of the NFL draft class for the teams who have terrible records and are going to get high picks. Coming up next on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here on KansasNation.com, ESPN Kansas City. Dan, we got to get some followers on socials, right?
That's right. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Kansas Nation, Twitter, or X, the everything app, as some people like to call it, at the Kansas Nation, Instagram at the Kansas Nation, TikTok at the Kansas Nation. Also check us out on YouTube. Check out all of our shows, all of our content on there as well at the Kansas Nation, and everywhere on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, you name it, we are on it. So go ahead and check out Rock Chalk Sports on Kansas Kansas Nation on YouTube, social media. Be sure to like and subscribe all of our stuff as well, and be sure to follow us along for the best Jayhawk coverage around.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. KansasNation.com as well, your place to go. Press conferences from Bill Self, particularly a lot of basketball coverage, men's and women's, as January is coming up very shortly, which means conference play will be here. And, you know, the one thing that gets me excited, I know you were talking about golf season being coming up. And that's kind of a thing that can
We have golf on the TV right now, by the way. I'm watching the 2000 British Open.
Yeah, I saw a shot of Tiger Woods. It looked like it was filmed with an RCA. No, but you were talking about golf season and how you're excited for that. The one thing that softens the blow a little bit of Christmas ending for me is the fact that March is going to be here, man.
I know it.
You know I love Champ Week.
I know it.
You know I love Champ Week. There's conference games going on,
best
conference
time of the year,
tournaments,
right?
and then I'll be out in Kansas City with David and the guys over the Jayhawk Radio Network for the Big 12 tournament. Hopefully this year, Dan, Kansas basketball is not the 6th seed. They've been the 6th seed each of the last 2 years, which means they get the latest game every night, which for people who enjoy the pomp and circumstance of being downtown Kansas City, the power and lights, then that's kind of a buzzsaw. So let's not be the 6th seed. Let's hope for, I don't know, the 1 seed would be great.
That'd be great.
Kansas would get a little tasty 2 p.m. tip on the first couple days.
Yeah. Man,
it's hard
being
to
the 1 seed would be great, but also the Big 12 is such a buzzsaw, like you said.
That's true. I guess if you're the 1 seed, you get the double bye, so you would play on Thursday.
That's true.
But yeah, tournament starts. I do like the 16 teams where the tournament starts Tuesday.
What do you like better, Champ Week or Feast Week?
That's so tough.
I'm a Champ Week guy.
That's so tough.
Because
Feast Week has football too.
I understand that, but also Champ Week is that to me is like the start of spring.
Yeah. Totally. No, believe
me.
You're not gonna convince me that Champ Week.
Like that's when you're like, oh, it's turning a corner. Like March Madness is right there.
Yep.
It's in your grasp.
It is. It is. Plus, you have the little mini brackets for the conference tournaments.
They're great.
It's great.
You do love brackets.
Selection Sunday. I love brackets.
You love brackets more than anybody.
I'll do a bracket for anything. I will. Absolutely. I mean, we could do a bracket for energy drink.
Right.
Energy drink drinking contest or something.
Instead of drafts for basketball season, we should do brackets. And we should have a list of things and we should move them accordingly.
Okay.
We can figure that out. We can.
I need you to let that marinate.
We'll figure out logistically what it is. Before we get into the NFL mock draft, I do want to say earlier today this came out. Players who are eligible for the 2026 NFL Hall of Fame. Some interesting, notable names that are on here. Drew Brees. He is now eligible for the NFL Hall of Fame. Obviously, quit playing football back in 2020 with the New Orleans Saints. Larry Fitzgerald is now officially, you got to think he's a unanimous, right?
Is Phillip Rivers on this?
No, he's not on this.
He's got to wait 5 years?
Yeah, he's got to wait another 5 years. But he's still on that pension, baby. He's still got that NFL health insurance rolling in for another 5 years. So I'm sure he's okay with that. Frank Gore is on this list as well, who had one of the crazier years. It felt like every single year from like 2015 on, I'd be like, oh, my God, is that Frank Gore?
Yeah.
Is he still playing?
Why is he with the Jets right now?
Yeah, you're like, what the? What he's the Colt? What is he with the Dolphins?
Right,
like, that's weird. The Bill? I don't know. So Frank Gore is now eligible. Torrey Holt, interestingly enough, is now eligible. I would have thought that he would have been eligible a long time ago, and I would have thought he got in a long time ago, but unfortunately, not the case. This one makes me feel old. Luke Kuechly. Is eligible
because he was so young when he retired.
I remember him being drafted. He got drafted in 2012. My 8th grade. I was in 8th grade. You were in college, right?
Yeah.
2012. Yeah. So I was in 8th grade. I remember watching Luke Kuechly get drafted out of Boston College, and he retired in 2019. But from 2012 to 2019, he had such a dominant 7-year stretch there that he was just. I mean, it makes sense, and. Now, longevity certainly is something to be said. I don't know if he'll get in this year, but he's certainly an NFL Hall of Famer in my eyes. But that one does make me feel a little old. Eli Manning is now eligible. Terrell Suggs, Chiefs Super Bowl.
Yes, Chiefs legend.
He's got a Chiefs Super Bowl ring, Terrell Suggs. Adam Vinatieri is now eligible.
He's got to
think he's going to be in. Reggie Wayne for the Colts. That one's a little crazy to me. Jason Witten. Who else
Former
on
Monday
here?
Night Football announcer.
Yeah, Willie Anderson.
Joe Tessitore.
Darren Woodson. Marshall Yanda for the Ravens back in the day. So yeah, I mean, a good list of guys who we're all relatively familiar with who are now being considered for the NFL Hall of Fame.
And the next batch of guys to get a chance at an NFL career, they will get selected coming
That's
up.
right.
As we
That's
turn the
right.
page to 2026 NFL draft, there's going to be a lot of eyes on that, particularly for the Chiefs, who are going to be drafting higher than usual. Dan, what can you tell us about where the Chiefs are right now, who they should be eyeing, and some other names at top draft boards?
Yeah, so I was looking at this mock draft by Ryan Wilson on CBS Sports. I looked at a number of different mock drafts. I like this one probably a little bit more. I'll kind of roll you through the first 10 picks. Chiefs are in those first 10 picks as of right now. So number 1 overall pick going to the Raiders, probably going to be Fernando Mendoza. Number 2, Arvell Reese going to the New York Football Giants, which I'm sure they're fine with, right? They didn't need the number 1 overall draft pick because they weren't going to pick a quarterback anyway. You'd think they're probably comfortable with Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
They've
got a great offensive core right now.
Yeah.
Offensive line maybe notwithstanding, but yeah.
Also, who knows what's going to be going on with Russ Wilson and Jameis Winston in the future? But in theory, they have 3 quarterbacks.
Jameis Winston, Kansas City calling his name.
Oh God, that would be crazy.
That would be awesome.
That would be kind of fun.
Throw a dart at Jameis for 2 or 3 weeks.
I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
So Giants probably going to pick a linebacker, which their defense is still really good right now. I mean, you look at some of those guys on that front line. They got a pretty solid defense. Jets probably going to go with Dante Moore, quarterback,
which they already have their
Oregon.
quarterback of the future. So I'm a little bit confused by
With
that.
Justin Fields,
but yeah, I guess more eligible.
Yeah,
They can give him a shot.
Titans probably looking at defensive lineman Peter Woods. Ty Simpson probably going to go to the Cardinals, is what Ryan Wilson has them as. So are they officially out on Kyler Murray? Who knows, right? They started Jacoby Brissett. I don't know. Carnell Tate, wide receiver, coming out of wide receiver U, the true wide receiver U, Ohio State University, going to the Browns.
Staying home.
Caleb Downs, safety, who is, I would say, the best safety in all of college football right now. Probably going to go to, projected to go number 7 to the Washington football team. Kendrick Falk, number 8. He's an edge rusher from Auburn, going to the Saints. And then he has the Chiefs at number 9 right now. So the Chiefs can be anywhere between 8 and 12. Is that correct?
I believe it's 8 and 13,
8 and
although
13.
that might have changed with the Falcons' win.
Sure. Oh, yeah, that's true.
So
that
I'll double check that. But
so
yes.
that might have gotten Chiefs more likely to get a top 10 pick. But right now, he has the Chiefs picking number 9 to pick Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, which is a name that a lot of people have brought up in the past. He averages 6.9 yards per attempt. He has 21 touchdowns on the year. Unbelievable. 1,372 rushing yards. The kid is just a fantastic running back. And again, I'm not big on drafting running backs. I'm not big on drafting running backs in the first round whatsoever. I hate it. I think too often, in terms of where the draft capital is and in terms of longevity, the average shelf life of a running back, it's just too risky to take him number 1 or in the first round, right? You have your exceptions. You have your Christian McCaffreys. You have your Saquon Barkleys, right? But there's been a number of times where people have gotten burnt by taking a running back in the first round.
Perhaps this will have you singing a different tune. Bleacher Report obviously does a breakdown, as many sites do, of basically all prospects, right? For Jeremiah Love, people love comparisons, right? I'm going to throw out a few names in this Bleacher Report article for Jeremiah Love.
Sure.
First of all, they've got him as an 8.5 grade, impact player quality first round. Comp grade, Bijan Robinson, who had 9 in 2023.
That's good.
And Ashton Genty, who had 8.5 last year. Also Najee Harris back in 2021. Overall ranked 6th, but yes, the top running back in the class. The Chiefs needed to have a bad season to even be in the conversation with Jeremiah Love.
For sure.
Pro comparison, according to Bleacher Report, for Jeremiah Love, Jahmyr Gibbs. So I think that if
don't talk me into
Love
this, Sean.
ends up on the trajectory of a guy like Robinson or Gibbs, and certainly we still think that Genty's going to be a really good player, then that gets you excited. You got to have a playmaker back there. You have to have a threat aside from Patrick Mahomes. Now, other things need to happen, like we talked about earlier in the show. You need to have pass catchers who catch passes.
Yes.
You need to have a good offensive line first and foremost, but you need to have a threat, a playmaker, so that the offense isn't completely reliant on Mahomes.
See, that's the thing. If you have an exceptional running back like Jeremiah Love, you need to do some stuff in the offseason in terms of trading, in terms of, picking up guys who are free agents, getting into bidding wars with somebody on the offensive line. You can have a Barry Sanders back there, but if you have a bunch of middle schoolers blocking for him, he's not going to be able to do anything. So you need to beef up the offensive line. I'm almost leaning towards the Chiefs need to get an offensive lineman in this first round. Now, granted, a lot of injuries happened this year. The Chiefs' offensive line, if they were fully healthy, were good.
The other reason I'm okay with the Chiefs going with Love, a running back here in this spot, is we know that running back's shelf life is not very long, right? 5 years maybe. I mean, obviously you have your freaks like Adrian Peterson or Frank Gore, whatever.
Yeah.
The Chiefs' window, we hope, is another 10 to 12 years with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
But when Mahomes is ideally at his prime here coming up, and you've got some other playmakers on both sides, next 5 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to draft a running back when you've got Brady Cook as your quarterback. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or somebody like that. You're not going to draft a running back when you're building around a wide receiver or something like that. So
plus,
I think that's something
that spreads out the
but
field
it's just
too,
exciting
because
when you get a skill position
It puts
guy.
more guys in the box when you have a legitimate threat there. I don't think Isaiah
Absolutely.
Pacheco or Kareem Hunt are legitimate threats.
No, it was all Mahomes having to beat the opposition with his feet, if not his arm.
See, but here's the thing. This guy coming out of, where is it? Kenyan Sadiq, tight end coming out of Miami. You got to think that if Travis Kelce comes back, great. But you need somebody else other than Noah Gray and Jared Wiley. You need a tight end to be able to fill that spot and be one of those pass catchers who could be a legitimate guy. And Kenyan Sadiq is a legitimate guy. So I really like him. I think he's solid. Or excuse me, he's coming out of Oregon. So I look, I don't know. That's the thing. I think you might even look at a tight end there. I like the Jeremiah Love pick.
Chiefs need a great 2026 draft.
Yeah,
they
I can
have
talk
to.
myself into Jeremiah Love.
They have to, because they have now, like I said, it's become clear how the roster looks right now with issues all sorts of places for a 6-10 season. Hey, that's going to do it for Rock Chalk Sports today. Our final show of the week is tomorrow, New Year's Eve. We'll get you excited for 2026, get you ready for Big 12 Conference play, KU and UCF Saturday at UCF. For Elijah Schmidt running the operations and Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying we'll catch you then on ESPN Kansas City and Kansas Nation.